Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to RRR Komaram Bheem, a tribal hero. Bharat India Oscar Sadhguru Adiyogi. So anyways, I thought I'd look at this because Sadhguru's talking about it and I'm curious as to his thoughts about it. And interestingly enough, I will say this, I do like, I wouldn't say historically accurate, but historically accurate Hollywood, type movies. Just because hopefully to provide more historical accuracy and just kinda, fancy it up a little bit to make it entertaining. But it's just a very, how do I say it, an entertaining way to learn about history. Generally, obviously, people, don't like history, it's boring or whatever, but if you can kind of put it into a movie, at least you'll know something about it, So, if this is something that's historically true, I know, I remember when I used to watch trailers in this channel, a lot of people made a request to it, and I didn't realize it was true. I thought it was just like, just another movie that's really good. But anyways, let's go and give this a shot real quick.
Nearly 3 to 4 generations of people fought, but most of those names are unfortunately unheard of. They have not been honored, their families have not been honored, there are no monuments for them. So I thought I will bring them back into people's memory where many of these tribals, their fingers and hands were cut off. And then Komaram, Bheem, stood up to fight for his tribe and fought for many years and formed a guerrilla army and fought against the English very bravely. His valor and his daring as a guerrilla fighter became a legend in that area of present-day Telangana.
Oh jeez, forgot they always do previews on this. So anyway, real quick, have any of y'all watched it, and how true is it? Is it mostly truth, and did they kind of I don't want to say blemish, but like exaggerate unimportant things? Like obviously, it's him about rebelling against the English, especially during the times that the British ruled. But in terms of at least the factual stuff, is it genuinely real, or did they blemished it a little bit? Just kind of curious if anyone's watched it. Again, I wouldn't mind watching. I watched one already that I actually loved. It's funny. I absolutely love the movie. And I like the actor in it. So it's the only hint I can give you, because I can't remember, the name is so long, but the song is Hands Up, and I actually really like that song too, and I watched it recently. Anyways, but this one is based on, I assume, a real event that happened.
India has come a long way since 1947. We have made great strides in terms of health, industry, scientific achievements, and more importantly, lifting millions of people out of poverty. But many challenges still face the nation. To overcome these challenges, responsible and conscious action from the leadership and every citizen will be most essential. Well, the virus may be grabbing all the headlines, but that is not the only challenge we face as a generation of people.
So it seems like, I guess this speech was made during, or maybe a little bit after?
There are many other things that need urgent action as well. Among these, the most important challenge that we face right now is soil degradation in the country. Unfortunately, this is a reality in large parts of the world, but particularly in India, it is a big challenge. We are heading to a place where our food and water scarcity is reaching a dangerous point. A couple of failed monsoons, we could face severe levels of strife and suffering happening in this country.
Wow.
Unless we turn this situation around, the planet that we hand over to the coming generations will be in such a state, they will look back and curse us. That's how we're leaving it. It's extremely important we leave rich soil, clean water and clean air for people to live, because good life comes not because of wealth, but because of clean water, clean air, nutritious food. These things are being severely threatened right now with soil degradation. This is the most important aspect that we need to address in our concerns of the pandemic. We should not miss this point that our soil needs care. Well, I've been speaking to a lot of experts in the field, and everywhere there is enough awareness about the problem and also the solutions. It is just that to implement, it needs people's cooperation. Most nations on the planet being democratic, it's very important large numbers of people need to understand this and support the governments in implementing long-term processes for soil regeneration and in turn prevent water scarcity and other fallouts. Today we are seeing everywhere climate change issues have become big, and they have become big only because disasters are hitting us. As conscious human beings, let us not wait for a disaster to come and strike us. If we are conscious, if you are civilized, we must wake up before disasters come. A disaster is not a pleasant thing, it's not a news in the newspaper or watch something on the television. People who are there either have lost their lives or lost everything that they had.
Interesting that he said, like, it's not in the news, as though it's something that's far away. And this is very true. I guess a lot of people see that disconnect where they see it in the news, but it's not reality, almost. There's an odd disconnect there whenever people watch it, and especially if they don't experience it. But, I mean, he is right. I'm wondering if there's anything like that in the United States. I'm hoping that the environmental agency in the United States is looking into that. I mean, I think the people in the United States aren't exactly, we're not taking advantage of the entire continent, I don't believe. Well, not the continent, but just US itself. No need to go into Mexico and Canada with this, but just at least within ourselves, you know. Obviously, the places where we're not, you know, can't exactly affect the soil still, probably not, but maybe we can still enrich it in some ways, perhaps. But yeah, I remember talking about this during the Save the Soil event when Sadhguru was doing it. A lot of people are turning over the topsoil, which I heard was a bad thing. Again, I don't know if it's happening in the United States, but I hope that they realize the bad things that we do to our soil and not wait until it's too late, like Sadhguru is talking about here. Why wait until it's too late, or if it's devastating before, you know, you can't turn back the damage that you've already done. And spoiler, Sadhguru I think was very successful in this, and a lot of things are becoming great in India at the very least. Now for the rest of the world, whenever Sadhguru did the trip around Europe, Middle East, some portions of Africa, I believe, I don't know how they are doing. That'd be amazing if Sadhguru can, I don't know, I guess I want to be informed, but Sadhguru has no responsibilities, but, you know, to, you know, have other countries do their thing, that's other countries' responsibilities. They signed the agreement, they need to do it, otherwise, what's the point? It's just like, oh, we signed this piece of paper, we have something that makes us feel good now. It means nothing though, you know.
In rectifying this, the most important aspects are we must attend to the government policies to ensure that significant amount of budgets and government machinery is invested in this. For this to happen, the government policies are very important. Coming up with the right policies to protect India's soil is very important. A determined action on the part of the administrations, industry and the people is very, very needed right now. It is not a tomorrow's problem anymore, it is today's problem. We need to address this. These problems have been mounting for the last 50 years. In the last 50 years, the level of damage we have caused to the biodiversity in the country's soil is immense and unpardonable. To fix this, we need a committed and a determined approach and ready for a long haul to turn this around. It is possible to do this, and this is the best gift we can offer to our children and their children. One thing about our nation, which is a kaleidoscope of cultures, kaleidoscope of ethnicity, and in every way we are a mix, an impossible mix of people, which is our strength, which is our quality. It is very important that we understand, though for small things we will bicker, when really big issues come, we have always come together to act as one nation, and once again this is very needed. We are entering the 75th year of India's independence. I beseech every one of you that we must act as one nation to beat the pandemic and also to revive India's soil and make this soil rich, because the richness of our soil naturally determines the richness of the life that we are. Richness of the life that we are will definitely determine the wealth of the nation, because people and in turn the soil is the only wealth the nation has. Many
I will say this, Sadhguru is a very, very good speaker. I don't think he was reading a script whenever he did that, and he was on point.
revolutionaries who laid down their life for the freedom of this nation. Today we are an independent republic. For this to happen, a 90-year struggle, officially from 1857 to 1947, this struggle went on, 90 years. Nearly 3 to 4 generations of people fought, but most of those names are unfortunately unheard of. They have not been honored, their families have not been honored, there are no monuments for them. So I thought I will bring them back into people's memory, especially the youth of this nation, because a nation that lives without gratitude will not go far. It's very important that we respect and are grateful for what the previous generations have done for us. As a part of this, today, 21st of March, the day one of Save Soil Rally, I will bring to your memory a great hero from the Telangana region belonging to the Gond community, Komaram Bheem, who belonged to the tribe of Gond, and tribals had their traditional rights, and naturally they lived in the forest and they exercised their rights. But when certain English forest officers took offense to this and wanted to prevent the tribals from making use of the forest for their livelihood, and there was a bit of a altercation. From then on, it went to extreme levels of cruelty, where many of these tribals, their fingers and hands were cut off. And then Komaram Bheem stood up to fight for his tribe and fought for many years and formed a guerrilla army and fought against the English very bravely. His valor and his daring as a guerrilla fighter became a legend in that area of present-day Telangana. Unfortunately, in the year 1940, due to some informants, the police managed to catch him or shot him dead. He fought and laid down his life for the sake of the nation, for the sake of his tribe. So it's good for us to remember his sacrifice, his valor, and above all, his commitment to the well-being of his people. I want the youth to remember, next 75 days, I will be bringing one revolutionary back alive in the social media. Please share this with your friends, and above all, express your gratitude for those who laid down their lives, for those who sacrificed their youth to make India what it is today. Thank you very much.
Sorry. We must look ahead and see how to create nations that all of us will be proud of. Nations that will be able to serve every human being to find full expressions to their lives. So, to speak on that last bit about that person, and to speak a bit about of modern day. So what I mean by this is that obviously we should look to the past as examples of how we should act in the future or present. We should look at it and know it and remember it, because we do not want to repeat the negative aspects of the past. We don't want to repeat that in the future or in present day. However, we should not blame people in the past for actions that they have not done in the present. Yes, so obviously, kind of like in America, I see certain people blaming modern day people which had nothing to do with what happened in the past, and and hold that guilt towards them. And the sheer fact of the matter is, at least in America, they don't know if their families were part of the one that were suppressed, because apparently a very small portions of slaves was brought to America. A lot of it went to the Caribbeans, and a lot of it went to the Middle East. But anyways, regardless, to hold, and maybe this reincarnation karma, this is where I guess I kind of have a problem. Kinda. Maybe not necessarily. It all depends on how people take information from the past. Obviously, what they're doing is they're taking, like, oh, this is what happened in the past, so we blame people in the future, and now I have hatred for people in the future of that particular color type or whatever it is, which I think is completely stupid. People, I guess this goes into the fact of not believing in reincarnation, though. So this is from that perspective, that you can't blame people for what the ancestors have done in the past, because if you go back far enough, you do realize that Africans enslaved other Africans and sold them to Europeans. So if you go back, why only go back to the enslavement in the United States? Why not go back a little bit further to where Africans captured other Africans and sold them? But again, it's just, they nitpick on what they want. But at the same time, we have to realize that these things are in the past, and we need to keep them in the past and never come up again. As in, we should not bring slavery back. Keep the nasty stuff in the past. We need to learn from it. And man, I am really going on about this one, and build a brighter future. And in some sense, this is how I'm seeing what Sadhguru says there at the end. We must look ahead and see how to create a nation that all of us will be proud of. It's not great for a nation to destroy itself or to blame others, but understand that yes, there's been many wrongs in the past. There's nothing we can do about it now. The only thing we can do about it now is to learn from the past and build a better future. Be proud of it, nations that will be able to serve every, keyword there, every human being to find a full expression to their lives. And this is the thing that's kind of lacking in America, is that we as Americans built a great nation. I'm not saying it's the best nation, it's just a great nation. It's a good nation. A very good foundation, and we have all the advantages in the world just because in terms of war, we are separate from where the majority of wars were happening in Europe, Asia. I don't know about Africa though. But anyways, in order to get to America, they have to cross the big seas or go through the North and South Pole. So we are creating our own problems. If we can't even handle ourselves, how in the world are we going to help other people? It's really kind of sad. And I hope that other great nations hopefully don't have that problem and do much better than America. Build your nations great and be an example to whatever nation that happens to be. Become a great nation and be a shining example of what it means to be united. United States is just the borders united. People, I will say this, most people in the United States are united. But it's just, it feels like, based on the social medias and stuff, I know they bring out the bad, like really bad. It seems terrible over here. And every day I look at it, it looks like it's getting worse. But I have to remember that, in the news and social media, generally speaking, they only show the bad stuff because that's what people like. Good stuff, who cares? Good stuff, if good stuff happens, that's great, that's fantastic. But bad stuff, I have to be aware of that because bad stuff might happen to me. So I have to look at the bad stuff and judge it based on that. So, and whenever I'm looking at all this stuff, I'm like, man, it feels like the world's burning, or at least in the United States. But it's not quite yet, but it feels like it's getting there. Anyways, I guess that's my reaction to RRR, Komaram, Bheem. Good lord, I'm sure I butchered that. Definitely gotta look up that movie though. I remember seeing it trailers of it, and I do want to see it. Hopefully it's subtitled at the very least. I don't know about dubbed. I prefer dub, but translation sometimes gets lost in translation. Anyways, that's my reaction to this. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down, down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.